Let's get right into the video. Okay, so if you stop for a moment, forget everything you've learned about Forex so far. You can have all the mentors in the world and you'll still not be profitable. You can have all the Forex knowledge in the world and you'll still not be profitable. You'll keep losing trades, you'll keep blowing accounts because you're missing out on one important thing. What you need to understand about Forex is you need to understand it for yourself. You need to understand what works for you. You know, a lot of people can tell you how to trade or what to trade. I only became profitable when I stopped listening and I found a strategy that worked for me. Yes, there may be other strategies that are similar to it, but I didn't care. I forgot everything I learned about Forex and I studied the chart and found a pattern that worked for me, something that was consistent and profitable. So I'll tell you what worked for me. I'm gonna show you guys today. So we're gonna hop over here just on a nice easy pair like Euro USD, and this is what worked for me. Scroll all the way back, far as I can go. You know, if you have a replay bar, use the replay bar. If you just scroll all the way back, you can just go one bar at a time through. Point is, I went as far as I can back and I back tested every single pair all day long until I found something that worked. If you don't have the time to do something like this, you don't have to do it all day long like I did, but spend a couple minutes, a couple hours, an hour, 10 minutes every single day, at least back testing a strategy that you like, a strategy that you're experimenting with, finding, and test it out before you actually start trading it. Because I know a lot of you will just pick up a strategy and start trading it right away and wondering why you're losing. Make sure you back test that a lot. So this is how I found the simple Forex method. The key for me was finding this through back testing. I'm going to show you the key, and with this key you can unlock any door you want in Forex. Doesn't matter what strategy you want to use. This is the key. I get a lot of questions on Discord asking why their trades aren't working, why this trade failed, and I look at a lot of the trade setups that they're taking and it's just nothing like my strategy at all. They misinterpret it, they got it very wrong. So today I want to clarify and show you the exact way I trade the strategy so that way you have a better idea. So first things first, we need to set up our trade rules. These are the rules we're going to follow when we're back testing. We need to stick strictly to those rules, just like as in trading, you would stick strictly to those rules. And we're going to back test 5, 6, 7, 10, 100 trades. But for the purpose of this video, we're only going to back test a few, just because it would be too long. But you need to sit here for hours and back test if you really want to get an idea of how your strategy works. So first things first, for my rule, first thing I do is I set a base time frame that I'm going to be executing my trades on. So for me, that's going to be the 15 minute. So we scroll all the way back on the 15 minute, go as far as we can back and start back testing. First thing I like to do is get an overall look of where the market is going on the higher time frame. So the 15 minute is my base, so the higher time frame will be the hour for me. So overall, I can straight away see that we are starting to flip into an uptrend. We were in a heavy downtrend here. We had some sideways movement, which usually indicates a reversal starting to come. So looks to me like we are starting to flip markets into a bullish market. Now, so since we're trading bullish, my first rule, high time frame equals bullish. So right now we're looking for buys only. Now that's our one rule. Our second rule is we are waiting to only trade when price breaks market structure, or some of you may know the term change of character. We are looking for a change of character. So for example, right here, this would have been actually a good entry, as I can see here. So this was a lower high on this downtrend and price broke above the lower high and then moved up. So we would have entered somewhere back here, but that's okay. We're going to look for a future trade. So that is our strategy here. We're looking for buys only, and we're looking to enter when price breaks a lower high because we're bullish. So how that works is because if we go to the 1 hour, these little things are just pullbacks in the overall trend. This is a pullback in the uptrend. This is a pullback. So all these pullback in the overall higher trend are going to be traded, and that's what we're looking to do. I'm going to continue here and I will be back when I find a trade. So I'm just going to kind of skim through until I see something that I like. Okay, so already you can see that we are setting up this nice little pullback on the 15. You know, on the higher time frame, we're still heading up, but on the 15 minute, we have this minor pullback, and this is where I'm looking for my entry. So what I'm going to do is just mark out each lower high. So this was a lower high here. This is a new lower high here. And then we formed a even newer lower high. So I marked the highest point of the top of this green MACD push. Each one of these green MACD waves here are lower highs. So I'm just gonna mark the most recent one because that's the only thing that matters. And we're just waiting for price exactly like that to break through. So now, as you can see, we had a break of a lower high. And overall, we have an uptrend. So this indicates me that we had a minor pullback and now we're going to continue to move in the same direction. So my entry rules is when it breaks, I wait for price to pull back to a order block. And for me, an order block is the last kind of block of red candles before price broke the lower high. That would be right here. Now, I'm also gonna mark out some bigger wicks like this, just to get an overall sense of some liquidity. And to me, I think we're actually in the perfect area to look for an entry. I am going to just go ahead and enter where we are right now. Let's say we did a market execution and put my stop below the last low. This should be enough room for me. Now for targets, what I can do is set my target to either this last major high here. And I don't want to set it necessarily up here because this is the all-time high. There's a higher probability of price coming back to this second all-time high here than price coming back to this all-time high. So this is going to be my target. I don't want to get too greedy. This is already a nice little 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. So we are going to say that for each trade we are risking $1,000. If we lose, we will lose 1,000. If we win, we will win 1,000. So 1,000 win. If we lose, we will lose $1,000. If we win, we will win $4,000 because it is a 1-to-4 risk to reward ratio. Okay, so now we're just gonna let it play out. If you're looking for a great broker to use, I highly recommend signing up with HengoTrade. I personally use them. Their spreads are super nice. You can use up to 500 leverage. And what's really cool is you can open up a small $10 account if you wanted to. Obviously, the more money you put in, the lower spreads you're gonna get. So I highly recommend using them with a higher amount of money. If you'd like to sign up, my link will be down below in the description. If it hits our stop loss, it hits our stop loss. If it hits our take profit, it hits our take profit. We're not gonna touch the trade. We're not gonna exit early. We're gonna let it play out. So as we can see, price did come back from it was close to our take profit, but it did start coming back. That is okay. We're just gonna not touch the trade. We're gonna be very strict with our rules here and we're gonna see what happens here. It got pretty close down here. We got in a little bit of drawback. That is okay. Because what I like to look for is price is breaking this lower high here. So this gives me a little bit more confidence that price can still be bullish. What we don't want to see is price break this. If it breaks that, it will probably end up hitting our stop loss, but it looks to be good so far. And boom, just like that, price runs straight up into our take profit. And let's see if it can go higher here. Doesn't look like it's gonna go any higher. So that is good that we set our take profit at that second highest point and not the very highest. Like I said, it's all about probabilities and we had a low probability of it coming back up and touching the very all-time high. Okay, cool. So that is one trade down. We are going to now get rid of all this. So now we are up $4,000. And we are going to continue looking for more trades. On the 1 hour, we still are bullish, so that is good. So we're gonna keep looking for more trades. Okay, something we do have here is another nice little pullback forming the last lower high, this right here, and it looks like price is about to break it. So we'll see, nice. Price broke our lower high here. So like I said before, we're gonna look for an order block is this last kind of chunk of red candles. I don't like to really mark these because those are kind of minor. So I'm gonna use this as my order block. And then I'm also gonna look to see some bigger wicked candles like here and like this major one here. This is a lot of liquidity here, so price could end up pulling back into these areas. So I will probably take an entry somewhere in the middle. Make sure to set my stop loss nice and below this wick here. So that should be good. And then for targets, I think I'm gonna set my target probably about here. So it's not straight off the all-time high. And here would be to set to the second high, but this is a little bit too low and price is already there. So we know that price could probably continue higher. So I will most likely set it here. So, you know, we are gonna set it to this little minor high right there. So that will be a nice $3,250 win if we win. 3,250, and then if we lose, we will lose 1,000. Cool. So now we're just gonna let the trade play out. We're not gonna touch anything. We're not gonna mess with anything. And boom, we are in the trade. And there we go. We did, our stop loss was hit, unfortunately. This did look like a little bit of a manipulation spike. That is okay. See, that's the problem there. We have to learn our lesson. We should have used a little bit of a bigger stop loss because we are kind of playing with fire right now using a 10 pip stop loss, but that is okay. It's the risk we took, especially because we know we had this huge kind of gap right here going on. We know that price could definitely fiddle around in this area a little bit more, so we should have had a bigger stop loss. That is okay. That's something we overlooked. We're not going to dwell on it. So we ended up losing $1,000, and we are probably now up 3,000. So we're just going to continue to look for another pullback, because if we go to the hour, we are still very bullish. So we want to see price make another nice little pullback before it continues, and then we'll trade the pullbacks. So this is a nice little pullback being made right now. We are going to mark out this lower high here. Nice. So one thing I will do is, because we had this major high and a major low, we could actually start be turning bearish. Okay, no, we are still bullish because the last low was here, and then we're creating a new low right now. So we still are bullish, which is good. So we can actually look to trade this if price breaks above. Okay, cool. So price ended up breaking above our area here. I'm just doing another little trick that I like to use. Cool. And now, so this will be our order block here. I'd like to see price pull back there. We could probably target something right there. Have a nice stop loss for that there. Let's go for a nice 1 to 3 for this trade. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, this trade did fail, so we now lost another $1,000. That is okay. It's all about probability, so we're gonna catch the next one. So now we are still up $2,000, which is good, and we are going to go to hour. So as you can see now, we have actually broke this lower high here, so we are turning bearish on the higher time frames. So this is good to know, because now we are only going to be trading bearish sells. So now we're going to start looking for sells. So we have this kind of line here going on, and we're going to look for pullbacks before we start selling. Okay, cool. We're having a nice little pullback going on right now. We're just going to mark out some lows and see what happens. This is the new low here. We have a new low here. And just like that, we have a nice break of the low. So now we can look for a sell. So for me, the order block is going to be this chunk here. This is a nice little order block. These don't really count. And then we're gonna mark out some bigger wicks, stuff like that. We have this wick here. We have these wicks here. So anywhere in this kind of general area is good for us to look for a sell. So I am going to sell probably somewhere in the middle and then have a stop loss above. And now for our targets, this will be our all-time low here. Because we're flipping bearish, we're gonna have some nice momentum coming off of this, so I could see price most likely coming down to here. So this will be a bigger 1 to 5 risk to reward ratio. And like before, we're gonna risk 1,000 again. And when we win, we will win 5 grand. So let's see what happens. I'm just gonna get rid of these boxes because we set our area already. And now let's see. Okay, cool. So price comes up and perfectly taps right into our sell limit. So now we are in the trade and we're just gonna play it out and see if price can hit our take profit. So price came very, very close to hitting our take profit. And we see we're not doing anything, we're not touching the trade, we're just letting it play out. It's most likely gonna hit our stop loss, but that is okay. We'll find, just like that. See, that is why you don't mess with your trades, because a lot of the times price will come back up and come even a little bit into negative drawdown again, and it might try to scare you and you might want to close your trades, but this is why you let your trades play out. I had a comment recently actually right here asking, this person right here was actually asking, how do you get over the fear of holding onto your trades? This will give you confidence. Backtesting will show you that you need to hold your trade. So this is how I got over the fear. This is the key that's important to any strategy out there. Okay, so just like that, now we are back up another 5 grand. So in total, we have 5 grand plus we were still up 2 grand. So now we are up 7 grand. This is how much money we got. So just like that, in 4 trades, because we had this one, we lost, and then we lost another one here. Out of 4 trades over, you know, a month or so, just in this one pair alone, you know, over the 20 days that we were trading, we're up 7 grand just off of one pair. And imagine all the other pairs you could have been trading within this too. You know, over the month, this is a FTMO challenge easily passed. So, like I said, just do this, really practice this, really grind this out, and you'll see a big difference in your trading game.